So, guys, today we are going to discuss one of the important concept. In fact, I will take two sessions to really discuss this concept. That is CI/CD pipeline in .NET. So, what is CI/CD pipeline? Why we need CI/CD pipeline? What exactly CI stand for? What exactly CD stand for? Does the meaning continuous delivery and continuous deployment are same? If not same, what is the role and responsibility of each one, right? How to implement CI in our application using GitHub? How to implement CD in our project, right, with GitHub? All these things we are going to discuss step by step. So we'll start from the very basics. We'll develop a small project, and then I will show you how you can implement CI/CD for that project step by step so that you will get more clarity. See, as a beginner, so from the beginner's point of view, right, when we start learning .NET development, we usually think we write the code using Visual Studio, we create some controller, we create some model, services, repositories, configurations, we run the API locally, and we feel that our job is done. But in a real software development, writing the code is part of your work. After writing the code, we also need to build the project. We also need to test the project. We also need to publish the project. We also need to deploy the project into a server so that other user can access it. So this is where CI/CD becomes very, very important. CI/CD pipeline helps us to automate this process by taking code from the developer machine, from our machine to the live server. So once we write the code, taking our code, preparing the code ready by doing multiple steps such as building it, whether the code is correct or not, testing it, whatever the unit test we created, right, whether all the tests are passes or not, publish it so that the output files are going to be ready, and then that published code, if everything is fine, going to deploy it on the live server. This is what CI/CD is going to do behind the scene internally, right, step by step. And this workflow makes the process faster, safer, and much more professional. And it is also very easy to implement and manage in a real-time project. Clear? So if someone asks you why we need CI/CD, then you have to tell this thing, right? CI/CD means what? Is it just writing and running the code locally is enough? No. As a beginner, we write the code and run on our local machine. Code seems fine on my PC, and there is no issue, so that is fine. So this is our job. No. So after writing the code, you have to ensure whether the build process is fine, whether the project is successfully compiled or not, right? You also need to test everything, right? Whatever the unit test you have created, whether all the test cases are passed or not. You have to publish the file so that the output files are generated, which is required for the deployment, and then you need to deploy. So this is also as part of your routine job. So if you are not doing this thing, right, then you might get some kind of issues. Why? Now, for example, you have not test the code and you publish into the production server. Then what will happen? Now, if there is some bug in your code, then that bug is going to be reached to the production server. Second problem, right? For example, you have write the code which is published fine, but instead of deploying the original code, for example, you have to deploy to DLL. Instead of those two DLL, you deploy some other DLLs. That might be read to one kind of scenario, that is wrong files might be deployed into the production server. Sometimes what happens now in your development environment, you are putting the connection string, which is pointing to the actual database, I mean production database. So these kind of scenarios, right, will come into picture if you are not doing this process automatically, if you are going with the manual process. So the point that what you need to remember, CI/CD makes this process means what? Build, test, publish, and deploy very faster, very safer, and in a proper standard, you can also say. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now when we are talking about CI/CD, it is the combination of two concepts. One, CI is different, another CD is different. Yes, both are most of the time they are going to work together, but technically you can consider these are two different concepts. right concept. So what is CI? CI stands for continuous integration. So what do you mean by continuous integration? Now the continuous integration is the process of regularly adding code changes to a shared repository and automatically checking whether the project still works correctly. Sir, what do you mean by this? See, generally in our last session yesterday, we have discussed what is a local repository. Local repository is nothing but your Git, which is going to maintain your version control. And along with the local repository, if you want to share your repository with the team member, then you need a remote repository. That is nothing but your GitHub. So when you do some changes on your local machine, after doing the changes, what you need to do, you need to push these changes from your local repository to the GitHub so that other team members can access the code. So when I push my code from my local machine to GitHub, then the things that what you need to take care is the code compiled properly? Are all required packages are available? Is the project built successfully? Are all the tests are passing? Is the application still in a healthy state? So these are the things that what you need to take care. Suppose I push my code, after pushing the code, the project compile. Once I push my code to GitHub, if that code is in the main branch or if I'm creating a pull request which is going to be merged with the main, then after this push or after the pull request, is the final application is compiling, is the final application, whatever the required packages are required, whether all the packages are available, is the project built successfully, is all the test cases are passes, is can I ensure my project is in a healthy state so that I can deploy into the live server. So these are the things if you want to handle automatically, then for that purpose the concept that what we need to use is CI. So CI/CD means what? Now it is going to automatic check, right? Whenever you push the code to GitHub, right? This CI pipeline, I'm not talking about CD, that is different. CI pipeline is going to do some things automatic, right? Some steps are going to be checked by the CI. So for example, as a developer, we write our code on our machine. And when we push the code to GitHub repository, I'm not talking about the local repository, which is the Git, or you can say uh, on your machine. So when I push my code from my local repository to the GitHub repository, that is the shared repository, then in that case, before merging the code into the main or before doing the deployment activity, this CI pipeline going to perform a set of tasks. Going to perform a set of tasks. These tasks include whether the project built correctly, whether all the required packages are restored, whether all the tests are passed, whether the application is healthy. If any of the state is red failed, anyone, then it will also give the feedback. Whether all, if everything is ready, okay, success. If any of the step is failed, okay, give some error. So this is what going to be done by the CI/CD pipeline. So basically, this pipeline is going to detect the issue early instead of figuring out the issue or the production server when it is deployed. Before deployment, when you are pushing the code, it is going to tell whether anything is went wrong. So that is the job of your CI pipeline. Clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? These are the things that is going to be taken care by CI/CD pipeline. Now, so why CI is very, very important? We have already discussed. Without CI, then what are the issues? Now, as a developer, we might push broken code, some compilation error is there, some invalid logic is there, right? That what we have pushed. Integration problem may still happen, right? Maybe hidden. For example, you are working with this layer-based architecture. From one layer, you are calling another layer. So for that another layer, whatever the data is returning or whatever the data I'm sending, that is not wrong. That might be broke. So box travels to the later stage. So, right? For example, right, you are having some issue, and that issue will be go to the production server, and the release becomes stressful. Why? Because I'm doing this thing again and again, right? Performing this step again and again manually is not a good programming practice. So we need to automate these things so that we can release faster, right? So with CI, these things you can handle very easily. Now, What is CD? So CI/CD means, as I mentioned already, two things. One is continuous integration, that is CI part. Second one is the continuous delivery, that is the CD part. See, there is a difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Sometimes people are consider CI/CD means continuous integration and continuous delivery. Sometimes people also term this as continuous integration and continuous deployment. So first of all, let us understand what you mean by continuous delivery, and then we'll see what is the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So what do you mean by continuous delivery? So CD means continuous delivery. What exactly this means? Now it means after the code is successfully built and tested. So once your code is successfully built and tested, that is the part of your CI pipeline. So without CI, CD is not there. But CI can exist without CD. So once the CI part is done, that means your project will completely, your test pass, your application is in healthy state. Then this CD is going to prepare and ready for deployment, right? So basically, see, if I'm having one project, once I write all the code and once I test everything, then I'm going to deploy the project. But for deploying the project, what I need to do? I need to publish the application code in a release mode. So there are two modes. One is a debug mode and another one is a release mode. Right? For a deployment kind of activity, once everything is fine, what you need to do? You need to make sure, right? You need to publish the code in a release mode, and that published code is going to contain only the files, right? Which are required for the deployment. So your source code is different. Right? Whenever you create the project in Visual Studio, the files, the folders are different than the files which we are going to deploy into the production server. So in this case, once the CI part is done, project is built successfully, project is tested successfully, then this CD will ensure that the deployment is for deploying the project, whatever the code is required, that is ready. That means the application is always going to be in a deployable state. CD is going to ensure that the application is ready to be released, right? For example, so you push the code. So once you push the code, right, then what will happen? Now CI is going to work behind the scene first. So what CI is going to do? CI is going to test the project. CI going to build the project. Once the CI part is done, then CD will create a deployable artifact. Sir, what do you mean by artifact? Artifact is nothing but the folder which is going to contain the files which are required for deploying it to a live server. For deploying whatever the files are required, that is going to be generated by a CI. Clear? Sorry, that is going to be generated by CD. CD means what? You can consider continuous delivery. Continuous delivery means it is going to ensure the project is ready for release. Clear?
Sir, can you again repeat artifact, sir? What is artifact?
Artifact simply you can consider it is just a folder containing the files required for the deployment. For example, if you are having a Visual Studio, so have you ever published any project in Visual Studio?
Yes, yes, sir.
So once you publish, right, one folder path you need to provide, and within that folder path, it is going to generate some files. Clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
That files you need to take from that folder and you need to publish into the server where you want, right? So that folder containing the files, technically we can call it as artifact. Artifact means that published code. Clear?
Yes, yes, yes,
In
clear,
simple
sir.
word, artifact means published code. And that published code means what? Compile file, or it contains the required dependency, whatever the configuration is required, everything is going to be ready. Clear?
Yes.
Right. So once this is done, next what we need to understand the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So these two terms basically confuse many beginners. So as a beginner, they are getting confused. CD means continuous delivery or continuous deployment. Is these two terminologies are same? If not same, then what is the difference between them? Let us try to understand. See, continuous delivery we have already discussed. Right after the CI/CD part, right? Continuous delivery means build happens automatically, test right? Test runs automatically, publish output is created automatically. So basically, first you have to it is going to build the project, it is going to test the project. After testing, that the published code is going to be generated. That is also called as right what artifact. So after all this thing, this continuous delivery means what? Automatic deployment is not there. Whatever your live server or a target server where you want to host this application code, that is not going to be done automatically. So for that purpose, you need some kind of approval. So basically, continuous delivery means it will ensure the project is ready for a deployment, but it needs some kind of approval before the deployment. So here in continuous delivery, deployment need approval. Means manual deployment is required in case of a continuous delivery. And if you come to continuous deployment, whatever happening here, build happens automatically, test happens automatically, happens automatically. These three steps are going to be there, but also deployment happens automatically. So only difference is that in CD, the deployment required manual interaction, approval is required. And in case of this one, continuous deployment is also going to be happen automatically. So here manual deployment and here auto deployment. Manual deployment means what? That it needs some kind of approval before deployment, and here no approval is required. Clear? If someone asks you what is the difference between these two, you have to tell this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Anyone having any question?
Pranay, can
So,
you show that in a real time, like when you're going to show the examples, like
Yes.
how we can do that continuous delivery with the data?
So all this thing I'm going to do practically. Why I'm not going. Initially, explaining you theoretically. Later, I'm going to do this practically. So once I do this practically, you will come to know how to do this thing. But yes, sometimes what happens, right? The interviewer might be ask you, can you give some real-time scenarios where we need to go with the CDA and continuous delivery, and where we need to go with the continuous deployment. See, in your development environment, in your staging environment, you can go with the right continuous deployment. Automatically deploy to the deployment environment, automatically deploy to the staging environment. But in product in real time, right? Most of the real time companies, they are what they are doing now. This right continuous delivery they have implemented for the production server. In production server, before the deployment, they need some kind of approval. So this approval is not required, right, in case of staging and development environment, but approval is required in case of a production environment. So you can see continuous delivery is specifically designed for production environment, and continuous deployment is basically designed for dev and staging environment. Clear?
sir, one question here. Uh,
Yes.
if I understand clearly, as you mentioned, it makes sense that continuous deployment is for the low environment like UAT development and continuous
Yes.
delivery majorly for live. But my
Yes.
point is there's a testing, run tests are run automatically. So
Yes.
in live, are we going to run all the tests that are there? Like how the tests are going to run in production environment during
See,
deployment?
so what do you mean by test here? You tell me. First, you tell me what do you mean by test.
Maybe I think that a smoke testing, not like a thorough testing, it will be just a
Yes.
high level.
Basically, there are two types of a test. So here the test means what? A unit test. So for your project, you have to write some kind of a unit test. Yes or no?
Correct, sir.
So those unit, if every unit test is passed, then only it will go to the next step. If there is some issue in any one of the unit test, then the next step will not be executed. So that your project is not going to be published, your project is not going to be deployed. So you have to fix the issue,
Correct. And in
right?
case of
And
continuous,
second thing, after the code is published, right? Then
mm,
how you will ensure that application is running? So for that
mhm,
purpose, what I can do is I can create some kind of a health check endpoint, which is going to be invoked. See whether the
mm,
application is behaving fine after the deployment or not.
got. Got it. Thanks.
And both things I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to write a unit test. Also, I'm going to show you how you can create a health check endpoint. Unit test, that is as part of the build process before the deployment to ensure everything is fine. Health check endpoint after the deployment to ensure that after the deployment application is still work as expected. Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is what I'm going to. So now, manual deployment and automated deployment, what is the difference? So we have already discussed manual deployment means what? As a developer, we have to perform all the steps manually. For example, you have to open the project in Visual Studio, you have to build the project, you have to publish the project. Once you publish, you have to copy the published file to the server folder. Then you have to stop the IIS side or application pool is needed, right? Then you have to replace the old files with the new files. You have to restart the IIS and test the API manual. So all the steps you have to follow when you are doing the manual deployment. So basically in companies, what they have done, they have made a checklist, right? For any kind of a manual deployment activity, one checklist is provided the developer to the tester, and they have to perform the checklist, right? I mean, they have to perform those tasks, whatever mentioned in the checklist. With manual deployment, what is the problem, right? For example, these are the steps. So with manual deployment, it's very easy that someone, right, forget a step. In manual deployment, it might be possible that wrong files may be copied. So in production environment, you are providing some development environment files. In manual deployment, what might be another reason, right? For slowness, you are publishing the code in a debug mode rather than the release mode. Some configuration file be might be missed. Different developer may follow different steps. So here the steps what we mentioned, other developer might follow a different approach. So this also makes the deployment process, right? I mean, not the development process, the deployment process. Development is different, deployment is different. That deployment process might be slow and error prone. And also very important, rollback is very difficult. So you have to figure out what files I have uploaded, what is the older file. You have to take a backup of the older file. Okay, get those older file and replace that older file with the new file. So that is what you have to do manually if you want to roll back, which is also going to be a a complicated process. For example, you have not taken the backup before the deployment. Then what will happen? How will you roll back? It will create some kind of issue or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
So this kind of a problem we can overcome with the automated deployment. So in this case, once we push our code to GitHub, we need to create a pipeline. That pipeline will provide the steps, step-by-step process, how the things are going to be handled internally. That pipeline will start automatically. So as part of the pipeline, it will build the project. For building the project, whatever the necessary setup is required. For example, downloading the packages, downloading installing the SDK. Everything is going to be done by GitHub. So these steps means what? So automatically GitHub is going to do all these things. So once our source code is available, it will download my source code. Once it download the source code, then what it will do? It will download the required packages for running the application. Once it download the required packages, it will also install the .NET SDK, because running the .NET command, .NET build, .NET restore, .NET publish, it need SDK. So once everything is fine, it will also provide one machine, that is Ubuntu Linux machine, where it is going to run this thing, right? Run this thing means within that machine, it is going to build the project. Within that machine, it is going to test the run, right? And then it is going to publish the output. Publish output means, it is going to publish the project. Then it is, if you have written some kind of a script, then also it is going to automatically deploy that publish output file into the IIS or web server, right, where you host your application. If it is required, it is also going to restart the web server, and post deployment, it is also going to validate the runs. I mean that health check endpoint if any, right, then it is also going to call to ensure that application is work as expected. So once you do these things automatically, then you can consider that the deployment work is going to be reduced. Now, as a developer, I'm not going to do all these steps manually again and again. So now it is going to be taken care by the CI pipeline. Clear?
Yes, yes.
Right? So why CI is important? You have to tell this thing. Automatically check whether the code is fine. It reduces the manual effort. It speed up the release process. It creates confidence before deployment. Why? Because you are you are sure if anything went wrong, deployment will not happen. If deployment is there, if you want rollback, that what also you can do it easily. So these are the advantages, right? So that's what you need to understand. Now, so we need to understand the complete CI/CD flow. So how exactly the CI/CD pipeline work
समझा
in
कि ये
real
प्लान
time?
को ठीक करो,
Who is there on
स्नेक
mute?
प्लान को.
Right? So now we'll understand the CI/CD pipeline end-to-end flow. So basically, whenever you are understanding the CI/CD pipeline or workflow, you have to understand code, GitHub, build, test, publish, and then deploy. So let us try to understand. Sure, code. So as a developer, you have to write the code in Visual Studio on your machine. So once you write the code, what is the next step? Next step, you need to push the code to Git. So commit to GitHub. Once the code available in the GitHub, then the workflow start. That the CI/CD pipeline flow start. So first of all, it will build the project. It will test the project. If with the build, see guys, remember one important thing. Once the pipeline start, if any step fails, the further step are never going to be executed. Means what? If you build is passed, then only test going to be performed. If you build fail, then no test. So if you build pass, then test cases are going to be checked. If all the test cases are passed, then it is going to publish our application so that right deployment code is going to be generated. Once the deployment code is generated, it can deploy the code, right? If you have implemented continuous deployment, then automatically it is going to deploy the code, whatever the server you take. So once the code is deployed, then that is available in the production server. So application is live and you can test the same. So this is the process that what you need to follow. You have to write the code, you have to push the code to Git, then the workflow will start, workflow will test the build, workflow will test the unit test, then it is going to publish the code, then it is going to deploy the code. Clear? This step is clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So once this is done, right, now we need to understand what are the tools and techniques that what we are going to use in our CI/CD setup. So first of all, Visual Studio we will use. Why? We have already discussed. This is going to be our editor to write the code, to create the project, to run the project, to debug the project, to publish the project. Right. For that purpose, we are going to use Visual Studio. Git. This is the version control system. This is going to be our local repository. Whether you work with GitHub or not, Git is mandatory. Without Git, GitHub will not work. So this is the repository where we will write our code. This Git is going to track the changes whatever we do in our local machine. GitHub, this is the remote repository, or you can say central shared repository. This will help us to share our code among team members. GitHub Actions. So this GitHub action is part of the GitHub, and this GitHub Actions, right, is going to automate the workflow. So that CI/CD pipeline, what we are going to implement. For implementing the CI/CD pipeline, we are going to use something called GitHub Action. This GitHub Action automatically restore the packages, automatically build the project, automatically run the test, automatically publish the output, automatically also going to trigger the deployment stage. IIS we are going to use at the application, right, web server where we are going to host the application, right? The common real-time problem solved by CI/CD. If someone asks you, you have to tell. So some of the issues, right, that is going to be, solved by CI/CD pipeline is many times you can see many developers saying it works on my machine, but not on the server. So have anyone faced this kind of scenario that it is working on your local machine, but when you deploy to the server, it is not working? Someone right face this kind of scenarios?
Yeah, many times.
Yes, sir, always.
So someone forgot to run test, right? And it's very common, right? If you have written many unit test code, before the deployment or before pushing the code, have you ever always test the unit test? No. Sometimes we forget. Even many times we are not writing the unit test, but you have tried. So wrong files are deployed, the project failed after the code merge. So right, sometimes you can see once you push your code, and then that code is go to the live server, and then application is failed. So after merging, application is not working. Before merging, application is working. So the deployment steps are different each time. A bug reached production server because nobody checked properly. And as a team, we wasted too much time doing this repeated task. So this kind of scenarios, right? I mean, these are the some real-time scenarios that is going to be solved by the uh, what I can say, CI/CD pipeline. So basically, what we are going to do, we are going to take a simple example, a student management project, and within that student management project, I'm going to show you how to implement CI/CD pipeline. But before implementing the CI/CD pipeline, first of all, we need to understand the manual activity. So how you can do this thing manually? So once you understand the concept, once you understand the complexity to implement all these things manually, then you can easily understand the CI/CD pipeline. Because if CI/CD is going to solve a problem, what problem it is going to solve? That problem we need to see manually. Right, practically. So let us proceed. First of all, what I'm going to do, going to create a simple student management project using ASP.NET Core Web API with Visual Studio and a .NET 8. Then I'm going to show you the manual deployment process, how the things you need to take care of, what are the things you need to check. And then I'm going to show you how you can implement CI/CD pipeline for the same. First, I will show you the CI, what is the role and job of CI. Once you understand CI, the next step, right, is going to be CD, how you can right, enhance the pipeline with the CD functionalities. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear, guys? Okay. So let us start
Yes.
the second part, right? So first, second part means we need to prepare our project, right? And this is going to be the chapter 2 you can consider, right? So I'm going to do some kind of a 6 to 7 chapter. One by one I'm going to deal with. So now, going to do, we are going to create a simple student management API project. And this project will be a very small project. And guys, remember why I'm making this project with no database connectivity, no complicated code? Because our main objective is not to understand the business logic. Our main objective is not to understand how to create a controller job of repository services. What is your main objective? CI/CD pipeline. How we can handle this project using CI/CD pipeline. So that is the reason why we are not going to keep focus on project logic itself, rather than we are going to keep focus on the deployment process at the CI/CD concept. So what we are going to do, I will show you right once the project is built, how to run the project in Visual Studio. How we are going to expose some endpoint for the testing purpose, and we will see whether all the endpoints are returning the data. We are also going to create some health checkpoint endpoint. Then we are going to then we will also understand how to add this project to Git. I will also show you how you can push this project to GitHub. Then I'm going to show you how you can publish the application code and how you are going to deploy this application code into IIS server. So all these things we are going to discuss one by one. Clear? And once we do this thing, then I will enhance this application with the CI pipeline. I'm also going to provide that enhancement, right? How you can manage the secrets, right? All these things we are going to discuss step by step. So let us proceed and implement this step by step. So first of all, I need to create one project. What is the project name? You can give me any name, but it should be a meaningful one. So let me create a new ASP.NET Core Web API project. Project name I'm giving student management.api. So I'm creating this project in my projects folder. Then click on the next button and select .NET 8 and then click on the create button. So this is what I'm doing. I'm creating a .NET 8 framework, right? Related ASP.NET Core Web API project. So once the project is created, next what I need to do, I need to clean the project. So what do you mean by cleaning the project? Cleaning the project means what? Whatever the unnecessary code are there, let me delete. So I don't need this weather forecast controller in my case. So delete this one. I don't need this weather forecast.cs class file. Please delete this one. So this project is created. So once the project is created, to make this looks like a real-time application. So what I'm going to do, going to create some kind of a folder. So controllers folder is already there. So for creating the models, I'm going to create a folder called models where I will create models. Also, I'm going to write implement services. So let me create another folder where I will create the service interfaces and implementation classes. So let me create a simple student model within the models folder, which is going to be the model, going to contain few properties. So this is going to my student model. So it is containing email and course. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my student interface, which is going to expose the service methods. I mean, what are all operations to be carried out on the student model? That operations are going to be defined here, not implemented, only declaration part within the interface. So here you can see get all student, get by ID, and adding a new student. Next, what I need to do, I need to create the implementation class with the in-memory data. So I'm going to create a static collection where I'm going to store the hard-coded student data, because we are not going to add the complexity of our database. So that what I'm not adding. So here, this is my list of student. Get all student. It is going to return all the students available. Get by ID based on the ID. And here adding a new student by increasing the ID by 1, whatever the maximum ID plus 1, that is going to be the new student ID. So that is going to my student service.
Your voice is coming.
Anyone asking
Hello?
anything? Yes, please ask whatever your query is. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the student controller. So this is a very simple controller I'm going to create, exposing a few endpoints which we will use for our testing purpose. So few endpoint means three endpoints. One is get all student, another one is get by ID, get all students. This is going to be get by ID method, and this is going to be create. I'm not going through the logic, guys, because I assume this logic is clear to everyone. So calling the service method get all, which is going to return me list of students, and that list of student I am returning with OK method. OK means it is going to return 200 status code. So that logic is very clear. Here our main objective is not to understand the business logic. Our main objective the CI/CD pipeline. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one health endpoint, health check endpoint. So this endpoint is going to ensure whether your application is working as expected or not, right after the deployment. So this endpoint I'm adding here as a health check endpoint. So it is going to return if this main point return 200, means what the application is working as expected after the deployment. Then what I need to do, I need to update my program.cs class file. So go to the program.cs class file. So first of all, what I'm doing here, I'm disabling the camel case naming convention. So whatever the property name I provided, I want the same name. That is the reason why I'm disabling this one. And the second thing is I need to register the service. So whatever the service we created, student service and I student service interface, that what I need to register within the dependency injection container, so that the framework can handle the instance creation. So once this is done, next what I can do is I can run the test and I can test the project now. Now what you need to do, you can test this thing, whether it is working as expected or not. So you can test the get endpoint directly within the browser. You can also test using the Swagger. You can also test using the Postman, right? Many options are available. Whichever option you like, you can do. So best option here, we have already integrated the project with Swagger. So you can get all students. So currently two students are there. Get student by ID. So you can pass the student ID. This is the student ID. I need to pass. And this is going to be my student creation endpoint. So you can also create a new student, something like this. So one new student is created. And now if you access this one, then this would give us three students, right? And this is going to my health check endpoint, which is always going to return me. If the project or the application is working as expected, it will return me 200 status code. So this is what we have done now. Till now, anyone having any question? This is the common. I have not done any rocket science. Simply create a simple ASP.NET Core Web API project, added one model, added one service class, added one controller, registered the service in the program.cs class file, also added one health check endpoint, and then run the application and test the endpoint. That's it. Anyone having any question till now?
No question.
Okay. In interview, the interviewer might be asked you this question. Can you please explain what is what exactly the meaning of build, rebuild, publish, and deploy? So can anybody tell me what is the meaning of build? Build means compiling the application code. Clear? So it is build means compiling the application code to ensure there is no syntax error. If everything is fine, if there is no compile time error or syntax error, then application is going to be built successfully. Rebuild means what? Now it is cleaning the project means what? First time you build the project, some compile, so after build, some files are going to be generated. So in case of rebuild, so first of all, whatever the already generated or compiled files, they are going to be deleted. After deleting those files, again it is going to build the solution again. So basically, clean plus build is nothing but rebuild. So here build, and here first clean the project, then build the project. Publish means generating the output file, I mean the deployable output, which is required for hosting the application into a web server. And deploy means whatever the deployable output file is generated, or you can say published file, taking those published file and putting it into the server, that is nothing but your deployment. So these are the four things. Now, let us see how we can do these things. Before that, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I want to initialize this project for GitHub and Git. So first of all, you need to go and you need to click on this create a Git repository. So here, I'm going to create a local repository and then click on this create button. So basically what it means now the project is being tracked by Git on my local machine. So once you say, then this git changes option is showing and all these things are there. So repository created successfully. So once the project is added to Git, next what uh, you need to understand what you mean by clone, commit, push and pull. So we have already discussed clone is basically creating a copy of your project from GitHub. Commit means if you are working on a project, if you want to commit the then you have to use commit. Push means sending your changes from your local repository to the remote repository, and pull means getting the latest from remote repository to your local repository. So now to work with all these things, right? What we need to do, we need to connect our project with GitHub. So how we can do this thing? So let us try to option. So first of all, you have two options. So earlier, what option I have shown you now earlier, you have to go to GitHub, right? And you have to create a new repository. That HTTPS URL will be there. That URL you need to append. Other option also available. Let us proceed and see. So what is that other option? Go to Git, and here you can see push to Git service. So once you click on this push to Git service, that window it is opening. And now I want to, right, what I can say, add this project to GitHub. So now it is saying you can see local path is this, license is not required. So it is going to create a new GitHub repository. By default, whatever the solution name, that is going to be the repository name in GitHub. But already it is saying that a repository name already exists for owner, this one. So if you look at this, one repository is already exists, student management dot API. So what I can do here, I can give you a different name. Okay, let me remove this API. Student management API. So I'm giving this name, student management API. So this is fine. Now it is available and just click on the push button. Now I don't need to create an empty repository on GitHub, then link, get the HTTPS URL and link here. From here only I can also create the repository in the GitHub. Now refresh this. So you can see student management API is created. Yes, it also contain all the source code, whatever my project is containing. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes.
Right? To make you understand, right, the continuous delivery and continuous development, right? For that purpose, we will use something called the development and production environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide some kind of settings. Some kind of settings means what? Now, some kind of settings is required for both production and development. Some kind of settings required only for the development. Some kind of settings, right, we need to override for the production environment. So for this purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some environment specific JSON file. So by default, if you look at our project, so this is app settings.json file. So this app settings.json file going to contains the settings which is common for all the environment. But this app settings.json development.json file is specifically going to work, right, for the development environment. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some changes. So this is my settings. So you can see student management application name is going to be student management API. Some logging I have provided. This is common. Now what I need to do, I need to override these settings. So if I'm running the application in a development environment, I want the application name to be student management API development. Similarly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create my production JSON file. So how to do this thing? Right click on your project, add new item, and here go to this data, select the JSON and give the name as up settings.production.json. So once I created this file, I want to copy this code. So basically this settings, this is for the production environment, and in production environment the name will soon like the student management.api. So I have provided some environment specific settings. Why different settings for a different environment? Because right, based on the environment you can provide the configuration. For example, in a development environment you may use detailed logging, you may use local values, you may enable swagger. But in production logging you want to control, you don't need a detailed logging, you don't want to hardcode the secret. And again, in production some configuration is going to very uh, secret, right? So you should not expose those. So basically, based on the environment, right, we can handle the different level of configuration, and that is the reason why we are provided. So whatever the configuration I'm doing here, this is the same variable. I can override that variable value here. I can also override that variable value here as per your requirement. Now, next step, what I need to do, I need to manually publish the project. So before that, what I'm going to do, first of all, right, let me push this code to right to whom? To GitHub. I mean, first I need to comment. Adding environment specific configurations. Adding environment specific configurations, that is what I have done, and commit all. So this is done. Then what I can do is I can push these changes. Okay, so that the changes are also going to be available on the GitHub. So now if you go to this student management API, right, you can see these three files are there. Now what I need to do, I need to manually publish the project. So how I can do this thing? So basically what I'm going to do, student management, okay, let me keep it as it is. So go to create a folder where you will store this published code. So go to deploy. So I'm creating a folder, deploy. So let me copy this name, student management API. So this is going to my folder name, and within this folder I want to store my published code. So within this folder, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another folder that is going to be published, and this published folder is going to contain my published code. So now, how I can do these things? How to publish the application? So basically, in the Solution Explorer, right-click the project and click on the publish. So once you click on the publish, this is opening, that publish window is opening. So go to the folder section. This is folder. Then click on the next button, right? And then select the folder where you want the published code. So D drive, deploy, production, publish. So this is going to my folder location. Click on the finish button. So now ready to publish. So ready to publish means delete existing files. If any existing files, if you want to change, right, every time you publish, it should regenerate. You can set it to true. Configuration you can see in release mode, and then click on the publish button. So once you click on the publish button, right, then it is going to generate the published code. Now what is the difference? Please observe. So if you go to the folder location, this is going to be your source code. So many bin folder, controller folder, some different kind of a files are there. This is folder and file that is going to be the source code. And if you go to this published folder, this is the file. So this is what we need. This is what we need for the deployment. And this is what our source code. So this source code is different than this one. So this file, what we are generating is required for the deployment in a live server. Clear?
So, sir, so this file is artifact, sir. Can I?
Sorry? Yeah, you can
This is
consider this is the artifact.
okay. Okay.
So now once this is done, right, next what I need to do, I need to deploy this into the production. So first of all, what I need to do, so you need to create a folder in the server where you want this published code. For example, I go to the C drive. So I'm creating a folder here. So let me rename, let me create a folder. I'm giving that folder name as student management API. So within this folder, I want the published code, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just copying this code and pasting. So this is my server. So I put this code inside a folder, and this folder path I'm going to provide, right? Let's assume this is your local machine where you generate this code. Now this code you want to publish into the web server, and this is the web server folder location where you put this thing. Now, how we can do this thing? So once you have do this thing, right, next part is to open the IIS manager. So open IIS. First of all, create one application pool. So now how to create application pool? So here you can say add application pool. So any name you can give. So no managed code select. And here, right, I'm giving the application pool name any name. Student management app. Student management.api.app pool. Any name you can give. Select this no managed code. Why no managed code? Earlier we used .NET CLR, but now why no managed code? Can anybody tell me why? Because earlier for running the application code, .NET CLR is mandatory. But nowadays the code is going to be run behind a right, what I can say, uh, technically, particularly, what is that name? Even I forgot. Uh, right, .NET Core is right cross-platform. Right, .NET Core is cross-platform. How and why? Can anybody tell me?
Kestrel server.
Yes, Custral server. As now, the application is going to be run under the supervision of a Custral server. So you don't need this .NET CLR version. No managed code is there. So once you create, then save it. Once you do this thing, right now, next what you need to do, you need to create a project. So once this is done, then you have to create a site. So let me create the site. So right click on the site folder, add website. Site name you can give anything. I'm giving that site name is this one. So whichever application pool you want to use, that application pool we just created. So from here you can see student management.api.apple, that what I have selected. Provide the physical path, right? Then provide the physical path where your application code is reside. So I need pub and student management API. This is the folder path. Host name, if you are having any website like some HTTP, some right mywebsite.com, so that what you need to provide. Currently, we are going to run it on local machine, so you can. So any port number you can give. Suppose I provided 8090, and then click on the OK button. So once you click on the OK button, right, then it will start working. So currently, it is stopped. Yes, this project is created now. Now, what you need to do, you can run the application. So you can browse here 8090. This page is not working. Fine. So what is our endpoint? Endpoint is API health and API status. So let me start with this one. API health. Okay, let me copy this one into my Google Chrome.
So right now that
And
site was stopped state we need to start.
it's not being used.
There are two same names on maybe that is making a issue.
Sorry?
There's student
It's not
management
application
API.
tool.
Maybe specifically assigned the application pool.
0, 88. Application pool started or not? Yes, it is started. Right, so now it is working. Now it is started, right? So now click on this one. Still I'm not getting. Okay, 8088 number. Yeah, I'm getting the output.
Yes.
Right. So another endpoint you can check API students to see whether all the students are coming or not. Getting the output. So that means what my application is running. Clear?
Panay, can you please tell what is the use of the application pool? Why we need the application pool?
I will need the application pool.
Yeah.
See basically, right? Think one. So in a application, right? For example, this is the web server. Inside this web server, is it mandatory that I'm going to contain only one application?
Yes.
Is it mandatory only one application
No,
can
no,
be
no.
hosted in the
Can be
server or
hosted multiple.
multiple applications, right? If multiple applications you are hosting and you want to ensure, right? I want to, right? This application pool is basically, right? Going to decide, right? How the application is going to be executed. What is the status of the application pool? So application pool is basically it is a collection of applications. So if you want to write some product related applications, some right, order related applications, so you can create a pool and whatever all product related application you can assign that the product application pool. Similarly, for order related application you can assign the order application pool. So what is the benefit now if you want to ensure that product application should be down, then you can down the product application pool. Then for that product application pool, whatever all applications associated with that pool is going to be down. It is not going to impact, right, other app pool or other applications. For example, I hosted right four applications. One is product application, one is student management system, another one is library management system, like this. Right now, if you want to down only one application, then down that pool only.
Okay.
Right. So it is a kind of a container you can consider container.
It is like a logical grouping of applications.
Yes. And here you need to tell, right, what .NET CLR version is going to be used, whether you are running .NET application or a .NET Core application, right? At what you need to tell. So now what I need to do is, currently, if you open the Swagger endpoint, then Swagger is not working. So why it is not working? Now it is not identifying, right? Currently the application is running in which environment? Currently the application is running in which environment? So basically, right, what I can do is, right, so here you can see, if you go to the published code, right, this is the pub file, right? Open this file, and here what I need to do, I need to add this property group. So just save this one, right? And then build the solution. Okay, then again publish the application code. Right? And then copy this web config file. So now, right, if you see the difference, this is my web config file. And if you open the web config file, then you will see currently it is containing this code, and right, and there is no environment specific data. Now, if you open this publish web config file, then you will see environment specific configuration as well. So next, what I need to do, copy this web config file, copy this one, and paste it in the inet pub folder.
Sir, one question: how this web config? Where you have done that? Because
So that
you
is
are not.
going to be generated automatically when you publish the application.
No, no, sir. My question is different. My question is this time in web.config, why this app environment settings were coming? Like what change you have done so that it was visible?
Because in this case, right, what I have done, I have gone to my project publish file. So you can see in the project, within the properties folder, there is a folder called publish file. So project properties publish file, right? And this project file, I have added this environment development. Earlier, this was not there. Now I added this statement.
So my question is, this is the publish one folder, right? Not the project folder. So why the change has happened reversely on the project side? Are you getting my
Yes.
question?
Basically, you have to tell. So in my project, is there any web config file?
Uh, no, sir.
No.
So that web config file, when it is going to be generated, when I publish my application, clear?
Okay. Yes.
So that publish, right, that web config file is going to contains the settings which is available, right, within this publish folder of XML file. So based on this file, it is going to generate the web config file. Also, it is going to, right, generate some kind of a settings, right, based on the launch
Correct.
syntax.json file.
Correct. Correct.
So based on this file, it is going to generate the web config. Earlier, this statement was not there. As this statement environment name development was not there, so it is not setting the development to anything. Now, this statement we have added. So again, when we regenerate the publish, I mean when we publish the code again that web config file is regenerated, and that regenerated web config file contains this environment settings.
Sir, this is clear. Sorry, maybe I'm not clear. That my point is the changes that you have done was on a publish folder, not on the project file. Like the
No,
folder
I think
publish that is
I
the
think you are in a wrong direction. So what I
okay.
done? So here I'm doing the changes, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay,
So this
okay, in the
file is
project. Okay, I got it. I got it. I missed it. Got it, sir.
clear.
I see. Yeah, yes, sir. Got
So now once I have applied this, now run whether the Swagger is coming or not. Clear?
it.
Clear,
Got it, sir.
guys? Right. So this is fine, and that is what it is working now. So that's it. So we have manually discussed, right, how to right, develop the application, how to publish the application, how to add our application to Git and GitHub. All these things we have done, right? So
Panay, like the Swagger is visible because in program.cs we have uh, make it
yes,
visible for the development like, right?
yes, the environment is development, and we have also set the project, right, once that environment to develop.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
And if you set this to production, then right when you are deploying the application into production, set this environment to production, right? And once you set, then that to Swagger will not come. Clear?
Yes.
So now this is very simple and basic things that what we have discussed. Now the real concept we will understand. Real concept means the CI/CD pipeline. So first of all, I will show you how to integrate a CI. CI means continuous integration. So continuous integration means what? Now means we need to set a pipeline, and that pipeline is going to download the latest source code. So basically, whatever our source code, that the source code it will download. For that source code to be right to work as expected, it is also going to download the .NET 8 SDK. So .NET SDK better to say why? Because whatever the .NET SDK version you are using in your project, so that SDK version it is going to download. I mean, it is going to install. It will restore the new wicket packages. It will build the solution. It will run the test. It will publish the web API and upload the publish output file as a workflow artifact. So this publish output file, it is also going to upload somewhere so that you can download and you can see. And that publish output, whatever we are going to see, it is going to be similar to the publish file what right we generated just now. So the steps is very simple for CI. Steps means what? Now, whenever we push any changes to main branch or any feature branch, or whether we create any pull request, and if that pull request is associated with the main branch, then my CI pipeline will work inside the GitHub. So what the CI pipeline is going to do? Now, first it should download the source code. So that downloading the source code is nothing but we can technically call this step as a checkout code. So whatever the code is there, latest code that it will download. And guys, remember, for example, think in terms of yourself. Suppose you are having one machine, and inside that machine, you have to download the source code, and you want to run the application and just check everything manually. You know what you need. So once you have the source code, without .NET SDK, can you run the application?
No. No, sir.
Without restoring the packages, can you build the application?
No.
Suppose you have the source code, you have the .NET SDK, but if you are not restoring the NuGet packages means what? For example, Swagger package, dependency injection package, right? Some kind of other right, packages which are required. So without restoring, you cannot build the project. So first of all, it will get the source code. It will set the right. It will set up the .NET SDK. It will restore the package. After restoring, once you have the source code, .NET SDK is there, all the required packages are downloaded, right? Then what you can do is you can build the solution. So build the solution means what? Within that solution, you might be have one project, you might be have a two project, right? All the project are also going to be built. Once the project is built, then it is going to publish the API. I mean, once the project code is there, it will publish the web API. And after building, one step I have missed here, that is the testing part. So after build solution, test is going to be there, unit testing is going to be there. Once the unit test is successful, then it is going to publish the API. So once it publish the API means what? Now it is going to generate the deployable code. And that deployable code, it is going to store inside a folder as an artifact. This artifact will give you complete deployable code, which you can also download, which you can also verify. Clear? So one step is missing here. After the build, before the publish, that unit testing is going to be there. So currently, in my project, a unit testing project we have not added. That's what we are going to add. So let us proceed and understand this thing, right, step by step. Right, this is clear.
Yes,
But,
sir.
for .NET 8 SDK or .NET SDK, internally we need also like a server, or we need a machine. So I think in
But
behind the
coming to that point, what is that machine? Who will provide that machine? I'm coming to that point in some time. But this
okay,
step is clear.
yes,
Yes or no? Okay.
yes.
Now, how to create a GitHub Actions? I mean, how to create the CI workflow. So before we start building a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions, we need to clearly understand a few technical terms. So technical terms means what? So for implementing CI/CD pipeline, what we are going to use? We are going to use GitHub Actions. So what exactly this GitHub Actions? So GitHub Actions work like a small automated system. So this GitHub Actions, what exactly it is? It works like a small automated system. So it is an automated system inside our GitHub repository. So basically this GitHub Actions, you can consider this is our automated system which is run inside the GitHub repository. So within this small automated system, what we need to do? We need to define. What we need to define? What should happen? So when this workflow run, what should happen? When it should happen? Where it should run? So basically when it should happen. So when we push our code, when we create a pull request, this workflow should happen. What should happen? Once this workflow start, what are the steps you need to follow? You need to build the project. You need to test the project. You need to publish the output. Where it should run. So on which runner? I mean, when I'm saying runner, runner means the operating system or the machine. So on which type of a machine you want to run this one? Ubuntu, Linux machine, Mac machine, Windows machine, mostly Linux machine is fine. So these things are going to be defined by GitHub Actions. So basically, whenever you are working with the CI/CD pipeline with the GitHub Actions, you need to understand four technical terms. One is workflow, job, step, and runner. So let us try to understand this theoretically. Then I will show you practically, right, how you can use this to create the automation file. So workflow. So workflow means what? It is the complete automation file. A workflow is the complete automation file that tells the GitHub what task to perform. This workflow, basically it is a file that what you need to create using the YML language. Right, you do not need to be worried about what is YML language, how to write the code in YML language. It is a one-time activity, right? You do not need to worry about it. But yes, whatever the code I'm going to write, I will explain what this code is all about. This project, this YML language, using this YML language, you need to create a file, and that the file, most importantly, you need to put inside this folder, GitHub/workflows folder. Why? Now, if you put the file inside this folder, then GitHub automatically run that file whenever you perform some action. What action? Now, whenever I push my code, whenever I create a pull request, GitHub is going to execute that file automatically. So this file right, tells GitHub when to start the file, what jobs to run, what each step is going to be do inside the job. So what is a job, what is a step, we'll see in some time, right? So basically a workflow tell GitHub run when code is pushed to main, run when code is pushed to feature branch, run when a pull request is created, right? Once you run this file, then first please build the solution, then build the perform the unit test, then run right, publish the code. So all these things we need to tell. So let us see how we can do this. So first of all, what is workflow? It is the main or complete automation file that tells GitHub what task to perform. It is a YML file and this file must be placed inside this folder, which is going to be executed automatically by GitHub when you perform some action. What actions to perform, we will see. How to perform the action, we will see. How to create this file, we will see. But for now, just remember, this is the file. So basically, workflow is nothing but a YML file that needs to be put inside this folder. This file, this YML file, is going to contain multiple jobs. One right file can contain multiple jobs. So what is a job? A job is nothing but collection of steps that are executed together on the same runner. So when I'm saying runner, runner is nothing but your machine. Right? That machine is going to be provided to us by GitHub. That machine will come into the picture when that workflow starts. That machine is destroyed when the workflow completes its task. Clear? So what is the runner? Runner is nothing but a machine that is provided to us by GitHub when our workflow starts. That machine is going to be destroyed when it will destroyed when the task is or when the workflow complete its task. Clear? So basically, what is a job? A job is nothing but a collection of steps that are executed together on the same runner. So if you are having multiple jobs, you can execute the job one after another. If they are dependent on each other, you can also execute the job parallelly if they are independent. So inside workflow, we can define one job or multiple job depending on our requirement. A job helps organize work into logical section. For example, if you defined a job, so what a job can do, it can contain multiple steps. What are the steps? One step to build the job, one build job, another step to test the job. I mean a build job which is going to build the application code. A test job, or you can say it is going to right. So you can consider build job, test job, deploy job. So basically, these are different kind of a job, and this job you can execute one after another if they depends on each other or in parallel if they are independent. So basically, what you can say, a workflow is a collection of jobs. Clear? And a job is a collection of steps that are executed together on the same runner. And a workflow can contain some multiple job they can be executed one after another, and job can be executed on parallel. So for mostly we are not creating multiple jobs. Yes, we will see. But for now, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss how to create a single job. Once you understand how to create a single job, creating multiple jobs right within the workflow is very easy. So what is job? Job is nothing but a group of a related task. Then what is a step? So related task. So this collection of steps we can also call it as a task. So when I'm saying steps, if I'm saying task, means what? Means they are the same thing. Clear? So you need to understand. So workflow. Workflow means what? Let's tell me. Complete automation file. Clear? It is written in which language? Clear?
YML.
YML.
This workflow, what it contains? Contains one or more jobs. Clear?
Yes.
What is a job?
Collection of
Collection of tasks.
Collection of tasks or steps. You can consider. Clear?
yes.
Right? Then what is a step? Right? What is a step? So now let us try to understand what is a step. So a step is nothing but a single action inside a job. So a single action inside a job. So what is a step? A single action inside a job. A job is a collection of stuff. And what is step? A single action inside a job. For example, if I create one job for the CI pipeline, one action to download the source code, another action to download to set up the .NET SDK, another action, right? What is that action? restore the NuGet packages. Another action, build the project. Another action, test the project. Another action, right, generate the published code. Another action, uh, provide one option to download the right published code. So basically, this is nothing but your step. So workflow, complete automation by contains one or more job. A job is a collection of a task or a step. A step is a single action inside a job. Clear?
Yes.
Right. And the final thing, right, a runner. Runner means the machine that executes the workflow. So for executing the workflow, we need a machine, and that machine is provided to us by GitHub. Why? Because to build the project, to restore the packages, to run the test, right, we need to use some CLI command. What are the command? .NET restore, .NET build, .NET test. And for running this command, right, we need a machine. And that machine we call as a runner. And in our scenario, right, we are going to use GitHub hosted runner, right, that is going to be Ubuntu latest. So Ubuntu latest means what? We are going to use a Linux machine as a runner to run our workflow. How to use all these things, let us try to understand. So first of all, what I'm going to do is, to our same existing project, I'm going to add a unit test, right, X unit test project. So to the same solution, what I'm doing, I'm going to add a new project. What project I'm going to add? I'm going to add X unit test project. So this is my X unit test project. Click on the next button. And here I'm providing the project name as a student management.api.text. And click on the red button. So basically, I have created one unit test project. So once you have the unit text project, then what you need to do now in this case, right? I'm having this services. I want to test this functionality whether they are working as not. So basically, if you want to use these services, then first of all, what you need to add a project reference. Add project reference to which project? Student management API. So I have created a unit test project, and I have also referred to the existing project to which services I want to test. Then what I need to do? I need to create a test class, test file. So this unit test one, whatever I just rename to this file, student service dot this one, and then I'm going to write one test case. So this is my test case. So here you can see get all should return students. So basically I have write one unit test method. So whenever you are working with unit testing, three things you need to understand: arrange, act, and assert. Arrange means make the things ready, make the dependency ready. For example, act. Act means I'm going to invoke this get all method. So this get all method is available in student service class, get all method. So to invoke this method, what dependency is required? I need to create an instance of this class. If this method accepts some data, what data it should make that data ready. So asset means make the data ready, which is going to be used by the actual. In this case, the data is nothing but an instance of the service class. Act means perform the action. Perform the action means whatever the service method, invoke that method. So in this case, we are calling that method. It is going to return some data. Asset means verify whether the response is correct or not, and whether to make the test pass or not. So here what I'm checking, if this return is not null, then test pass. If it is not empty, then test pass. If it return more than or less than, if it return more than or equals to 2 record, then it is going to be true. So if this is what I'm getting from this method, then test is pass, otherwise test is fail. So this is a very simple unit test project we created with one test case. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? So if you want to test this case, you can call this run text, right? It is going to make your setup ready, and then it is going to run the test, and it is also going to show whether the test is pass or fail. Right? So test is pass. So you can see the response. Okay, fine. So once we add the project, next what we need to do, we need to comment these changes and push it to GitHub, because this code should be available on GitHub. So added X unit test project for CI/CD pipeline, not CD, only CI pipeline, and click on the commit. So once you click on the commit, this is added to Git repository. And next, what I need to do, I need to push these changes to GitHub. So click on the push button so that this changes is also available on the GitHub. Clear?
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Clear or not? So now what I need to do, I need to create my workflow file, that is the YML file. So for creating the YML file, the location should be this one, GitHub workflow, any name you can give it, .yml. So you can create this in two ways. So if you go to the solution, here you can create this file folder structure, right? You can create the file here. I mean, within the solution, create a folder, right? Folder name GitHub. Within this folder, create this workflow files, and then, sorry, another folder, and within that folder, this file. So you can create from your local machine and push this file to GitHub. If you want, then you can also create the same in GitHub, and you can start creating. So this is not required in my local machine. This GitHub workflow CIML, this is not going to be used on my local machine. Where it is going to be used? It is going to be used by GitHub. So what I am going to do is, I'm going to create this file on GitHub. If you want, you can create on your local machine, push this file to GitHub, but again, you can also do the same thing in GitHub. So copy this one. All right, go to here. So this is my project code, you can see. And here, go to this project. This is going to be my project file. So once you have to this one, right, here you can see add file option is going to be there. Create a new file. So where it should create?
You have to click on actions.
No. So here you need to click and see. Once you are in the project, there is an option called add file. So you can see this add file. Okay, let me show you this thing step by step. So now we are in the home page. So from this home page, what I need to do, I need to go to my project. Which project? This is the project, Student Management API. Click on this project. So once you click on this project, you are in the source code. So now you can see an option called add file. Click on this add file and click on this create new file option. Right? So once you click on this one, then give the project name. So GitHub workflow CY.ml. So once you provide this thing, right, then what you need to do? You need to create the file. So once you create the file, this file is being created. Clear? This file is being created. Now, what do you need to do? You need to decide when the workflow should run. So basically, we want when code is pushed to main or feature branch, right? When we push to main or feature branch, when a pull request target the main. So these are the two scenarios where we need the workflow to run. And for this purpose, we have already created this YML file. So now just copy this code. Right? Just copy this code. So now let us try to understand what is this. So first of all, you can see I have provided Student Management API. So this is going to be the workflow name, which is going to be visible on the workflow section. Where it is visible, how to view this thing, I will show you. So this is nothing but the name of your workflow. and you can give any name. Whenever I'm using as, this is nothing but a comment line. So the name is going to be this one. So this is the name of my workflow. You can give it any name. This first statement is clear.
Yes, sir.
Right. So on is nothing but your triggering condition. So when this workflow is going to be run, that what you can specify using on. On means it is going to tell when this workflow is going to be run. So this workflow is going to run, right? This workflow is going to run when the code is push. So push, so this push and a pull request. So when there is a push and when there is a pull request, we have already discussed what is push and what is pull request. So when we are pushing the code to GitHub, but if there are 1,000, if there are 50 branches, do I need to run this workflow for all the 50 branches? No. I only want to run this workflow when I'm pushing the code to main and to any feature branch which is going to start with the feature slash dot double star. That means if the branch start with a feature, or if you are pushing the code to main branch, then only this workflow is going to be run. This part is clear?
Yes.
Right. Now, also, if there is a pull request and that pull request is created to merge the code to main branch, then also you can, for example, you created a local branch and you push that local branch to GitHub. That means one pull request you need to create before the merging, right? And if that merging is targeting the main branch, then also the workflow is going to be run, because before merging, we also need to ensure whatever the code is available within that feature branch, it should work as expected. So that in that scenario also we want to run our workflow. So till line number 14, is that clear?
So one question here, sir.
Yes.
When we are saying that merging is going to happen, so definitely it's like a pushing the code into the main branch. So this point, that is 11th, like why a
Yeah.
pull request is created when
Okay,
already
there are
we
two
have
things. There are two things. One is push, another one
another
is pull.
pull. Yes, sir.
What is the difference? You first tell me.
So push means when we are pushing the code to the repository, remote repository, then the push will applies.
Clear? Directly one
Yes,
branch is there and you are pushing your changes to that branch. Clear?
correct, sir.
So for example, main. Now pull request means what? You are having a feature branch.
Hmm.
Some
I
some
always
feature
think that pull request is downloading the code. I was thinking that
branch. No. So that is a pull is downloading the code. Pull request is something different. Did you attend yesterday session?
yes, sir. Maybe I got confused. My bad.
Right. So suppose you created one mods, right? R teacher API. So this is one right branch you created. Now you are pushing this branch.
Mhm.
Pushing this branch to GitHub means what? So this code cannot directly merge with main. So for this to happen, for merging this feature branch to with main, what you need to do? First of all, you need to push this branch to GitHub, and in GitHub, you need to create one pull request.
Correct, sir. To merge the
And that
code.
pull request is basically for merging, right, this feature branch with this main branch. Here you can review the code, any review request is there, you can sort out this one, again you can push these changes, right, and then it is going to merge with the main branch. So pushing means directly you are pushing to any specific branch. Pull request means what? Merging means I am having a feature branch, I want to merge
Mm.
that feature branch with the main branch. For that purpose you need to create a pull request. Clear?
Yes, sir. Because I got confused that I thought that pull request indirectly will trigger the push stuff. So that's why I got confused.
Not automatically, you have to create that one. I'm also going to show this practically, right?
Okay.
So this is clear. Line number, what I can say, this line number 14 till now, this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now we have already discussed what is a job, job is a group of steps, and you can create multiple jobs. Clear? Clear or not? So in this case, what I'm doing, I'm creating one job, build, test, publish. So this is the internal naming convention identifier. Similar to this job, you can create another job once this is done, another job. So multiple jobs you can create. So here I'm creating one job. That job internal identifier is this one. This is going to be used internally by GitHub. And this name, what we specified here, that is the display name. So this is the name that what you will see once you run this workflow. As part of this workflow, it is going to display this name. This is the display name and this is the internal identifier for the job. And runs on Ubuntu latest means for running this workflow, right? For as part of this workflow, when this job is going to run, so this job, particularly this job with this display name, is going to run on a Linux machine. So runs on Ubuntu latest means GitHub will provided us a Linux machine to run this job. So line number 22, is that clear?
Yeah.
And whenever I'm
So should we
saying,
use Windows as well?
okay, sorry.
Should we use the Windows as a run zone instead
So
of
you
Ubuntu?
can use, right? Whatever operating system you can use. So now,
Okay.
right, once we have done this, but ideally Linux is best for this kind of activities. So now, and guys, remember this name, whatever we provided, you can give any name. So when there is a name, you can give anything. This name build test publish. This is the internal identifier. You can also give it anything. But runs on right this values, they are fixed one. You cannot give anything by your own. This is the syntax. Now, so as part of the job, what are there? There that job is going to perform multiple work, right? Multiple tasks. So those tasks you need to specify using a step. So a job is going to be performed multiple tasks, and those tasks you can perform here step by step. So what are the steps? Now in step one, right, checkout source code, you can give it any name. Uses action checkout v. So basically this action checkout v, at the rate v means this is the version 5 of this YML language what we are using. So what exactly this action checkout is going to do? It is going to download the repository code. So whatever the latest repository code we provided, that code it is going to download. Where it is going to download? It will download to this runner machine. Clear?
Yes.
Step one is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is step one. Once this step is done, then it will execute the step two. In step two, what exactly name we provided? Right, setup.NET 8 SDK. So as our application targeting .NET 8, so we are going to download the required .NET SDK version. So action setup.NET means what? Now it is going to set up the .NET SDK on the runner machine where our job is going to run. And here, what version it is going to download? 8.0.x. So X is the patch number. Any 8.0. I mean latest version that is available, that is going to be installed on this machine. Clear?
So one question
Step
here. So does it mean that every time it's going to install, or like
every
we are going to
time.
check?
So what I'm saying, when this when this workflow is going to run, that machine will be provided GitHub to us. Once this job is done, that machine is going to be destroyed. So if the machine is destroyed means what? Nothing is there. So every time this raw job is going to be run, this steps is going to happen every time in the
And sir, who is providing this machine? Is it, sorry, I'm not able to connect.
GitHub only. GitHub
GitHub.
only, right? So step two is clear, everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Step 3, restore NuGet packages before building the application. Once you have the .NET SDK, once you have the source code, right? When if you remember, when you are getting the project source code, automatically that required NuGet packages are downloaded. So in the step 3, we are going to download the restore packages. For this purpose, what we are doing, we are installing, right? What we are installing, what we are using? We are using .NET CLI command, .NET restore. So .NET restore means it is going to restore the packages for this solution. So this is my solution, and within this solution, right, for both the test project, for the API project, all the packages are going to be restored. The step 3 is clear.
Yes. Yeah, it is clear.
Right. Now to build the solution in a release mode. See, whenever you are building the project, you can build the project in debug mode as well as in release mode. And if you are running your application locally, you want to debug the application step by step, building in the debug mode is fine. But when it is come to deployment, always build the application in release mode. So build solution, you can give any name. So .NET build command I'm using, and I'm building the complete solution which is containing both unit test and API project. Why both? Because both I need. And here I'm mentioning configure or release. Configure release means it is going to build the project in release mode, no restore. No restore means what? It is while building the application, it is not going to restore the packages. Why? Because we have already restored the packages in the previous step. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes.
Right. Now, so once the build is completed, what is the next step? Next step, run unit test. Right? Run unit test. So .NET test command I am using, and I'm providing the project solution, and here it is going to run the unit test. So configure release. So it is going to run the project in release mode. There is no build. Why? Build is already done. Verbosity normal means how much log activity you want to do. So whenever it is running the code, so normal means what? The no more, no less. Some average kind of logging statement will be provided by GitHub. So next one is publish the API. So
Sir,
once
one
the
question. Sorry. Sir, is it mandatory to give everything like no build verbosity normal or
if
just
you do not
release?
provide, if you do not provide, right, then what will happen? That step is going to perform internally. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, then publish the API project right now. Now you tell me. So whenever I'm going to publish the code, do I need to publish both the unit test and the API, or only API project into the
Sir,
production
API
server?
only.
Yeah.
API.
Right? So for that purpose, you can see whenever I'm using publish web API, I'm not specifying my solution name, right? Rather than I'm specifying my CS pros. CS pros means the project file. Clear? So .NET publish. So in this case, it is only going to publish the API project. Configuration release, it is going to publish the project in release mode. And the output publish means what? It is going to publish the output into this folder, and while publishing, it is not going to do the build process. No build, only really publish the code in a release mode and to this output directory. Clear? Clear or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And store the published output as acquire. As you know, once the job is done, right, that whatever the code is generated, whatever, right, machine is going to be destroyed. So before destroying the machine, do you want to store this published output into a specific folder so that later you can download? Yes, I want to do that. So that for that purpose, I'm using this upload published artifact. This is the action that is going to do the same thing. So basically, I'm giving a name, and whatever the published code it is generated in the previous step, that step code you can download from this published folder. So here it is generated, and here it provides that same code to be downloaded, right? So that you can download the code and you can check, right, what published code is being generated. So this is the changes that what you need to do. Clear?
One question, sir. In the output folder is ./publish. So we can give anything there like ./publish. It is like because it's a
You
Ubuntu.
can give any name. You can give. So here, whatever the name you provided, all
So
right,
it's
you
not like a
can.
C drive or D drive sort of path we cannot
So,
give,
so
right?
this is GitHub. This is GitHub website, right?
Okay.
Is there any C or a D drive?
No, no, no. Just
So you just need to provide a folder name, right? So now once you have done these changes, right? Where we are doing these changes, we are doing these changes directly in the GitHub. So commit the changes. So create cyml, adding the C, right? So similar to the comment what we are doing in the local, adding ciml, right? So that is we have provided commit directly to the main branch. Okay, except this one. Okay. Now, once you have done this, if you write into a pull request, right, currently you can see that folder location is not there. So make a pull. Okay. Now go to the solution. So this GitHub workflow, is this available here now? So if you create this file here, then what you need to do? You need to write commit this file and push the changes to the branch. And here we are created the file in the GitHub and then get the file. So is that clear what we have discussed till now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now what we need to do, we need to understand whether it is working as expected or not. How we can do this thing. Now, right, what I need to do, I'm going to do some changes, right? So to make sure that everything is working as expected. So we have created, this is, right, go to the student management project, right? And go to the actions tab. So this is my YML file. That is what we created, right?
Repeat
Right.
from
So,
where you go. Sorry, sir. Can you please repeat where you go?
so you know how to go. You are already in the home directory of the project.
Yes, yes, sir.
Repository. So there is an option called
Okay,
actions.
got it.
So click the actions tab, and then this create YML. So this name we provided. We should give a better name. Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. So from here, click on this one. So here you can see this is build test publish, the name what we provided. This is the artifact section, right? Guys, give me 1 minute. Now what I'm going to do is, you want to run this publish file, write this manually? Yes. Rerun. So build test rerun. So this file is now running. So the status is quit. So it is in progress. It is still running, taking time, because it is going to prepare the runner. It is going to download the source code. It is going to install the SDK. It is going to download the NuGet packages. Then it is going to build. Then it is going to test. Then it is going to publish. And it is going to do all the steps, step by step, what we mentioned inside the job. So for this particular job, it is done. Now you can see success, status success, total duration, total artifact. Now click on this one. So once you click on this one, right, you can see what are the set up the job. This is step one. Check out source code, set up .NET 8 SDK, restore dependency, build solution, run test, publish WebAPI, upload artifacts, post to set up right .NET SDK, post to check out source code and complete the job. So this is what it is doing here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, if you come to this one,
What is this post setup.NET SDK doing?
right? Post to check out source code.
No, no, post setup .NET SDK. Oh,
So, right, post setup .NET SDK means what, right? Post job cleanup. So once the artifact is done, right, the things what it installed, they are going to be uninstalled.
okay.
Clear? I
Yes.
mean, it is also going to uninstall everything, right? So now, if you come to this one, so this is my YML file, and this is the artifact, right? So this is the artifact that is being generated for the last run. So now if you want, you can download the file. You can write, for example, you click on this one. So it is going to download the project source code. So now once it download, right, go to the download and then extract all. This is the same set of code what we are getting, that is we generally get using the publish functionality. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is
Sir,
how.
can you just show from where we can download the code?
So in the artifact, once you come to this project, right? For example, this is my project source code. So okay, so you are in the home page. Go to the actions tab. So this is the workflow, right? This is YML. So from this
Yes.
workflow, when you click on this one, right, uh, it is showing that artifact just below. So artifact, you can click here, click on this file, it is
Okay.
going to download. If you want to
Thank you,
delete,
sir.
you can delete also. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show, right, whether if I'm doing any changes, right, whether it is going to work or not. For example, I'm having this health controller. Status. I'm going to add something here, code equals to 200. And this is what I have added. So once I add this thing, next what I need to do, right, adding
Commenting the changes and then pushing it into the repository.
health endpoint. So that is what we need to do. Health endpoint, right? So this is what I'm doing here and commenting this, adding code to health and commit and then push these changes. So once I push to main, is my workflow is going to run automatically?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. So currently I'm going to this home page, right? And from here, this is my student management API project. And where to see the artifacts?
Action.
Action. And this adding code to health endpoint, is that running?
Yes, sir.
Right? So it is going to automatically run. And it will ensure whatever the right changes you put to, right, what I can say main, whether that is fine or not. Because I have only write the code. I have not built the project. I have not run the application. I have not performed the unit test. Nothing is done. But everything is going to be handled by this workflow automatically behind the scene. If everything is fine, then only it is going to give the success message, and otherwise it is going to give you the error. But ideally, in real time, we never directly pushed main. We worked with we worked with branches. So now you can see everything is fine. And steps you can also verify. Now, let's assume there is a issue. So I add this one. Who is on mute? Suppose there is a compilation error. Who is on mute? Who is Kumar? I don't know why people are okay. So what I'm doing here, intentionally I did a mistake. So this is a mistake. And what I'm doing here,
Commit.
Comment the changes.
error commit. I do some mistake and I commit the error. And then what I'm doing here, okay,
Pushing it.
I'm pushing these changes to the server. I mean pushing these changes to the what I can say GitHub. Now in GitHub, another test should run. Error comment. So whatever the comment we provided, that is running here. And in this case, guys, tell me at which step it should help
No. Build
in
one.
the build. Once it failed in the build step, the remaining step will not be executed. Let us wait and see whether that is what it is doing internally or not. Error? Yes. Click on this one. Yes. And here you can see build date publish process completed with exit code 1. So what error it is also saying, right? What expected, right? You can see. Now go to the steps. So you can see these steps are running. No. So from this step, there is some issue, and where the issue, everything it is showing, and build well. So this is how it is going to work. So now, next what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix the error comment all, then push the changes. Now, again come and fix error. It will run in some time.
Meantime, just one question, sir. Can we have a notification that if it is failed, then send a mail to people?
It is the email ID. Let me check. You will get notification automatically to the registered email ID. Let me check which email ID I use. Clear? Don't fail.
If it
So
is
this is
successful, it's sending
no,
them.
in case of successful, nothing, right? Uh, by default, right? If you want, you can set this thing, but here when it is failed, automatically it is sending a mail to the email ID.
Panel,
Okay.
can we
Yes,
can we integrate the Slack or MS Team
you can,
if
you can. That is the advanced concept that what you can also do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a feature branch. I want to show the pull request example, right? So now what I'm going to do, currently we are in the main, and from this main, I want to create a branch, Git repository. From this main branch, I want to create a new local branch. Branch name is going to be feature, and this is change health message, and click on the create button. So, and we are currently in that branch. So now this is my health controller. So what I need to do, I want to code status message, and here I want to add one property is active true. So this is the changes that what I have done, and then what I need to do, I need to commit these changes. Commit these changes. Okay, changes are committed, and then right, what I can do is I want to push this into GitHub. So how I can do this? First time I'm pushing. So once I push these changes, right, it is going to push this branch into GitHub and also going to create a, right, what I can say, pull request. So you can see compare and pull request option is there. And in action, you can see adding status code uh, in health check message body. So in this case, as I have already included this branch is included in right here. If you look at the file, then that workflow is going to be run. When it is going to run? When we are pushing to
Code.
the main branch, as well as when we are pushing to any feature branch. That what we have provided. That is the reason why when we are pushing the feature branch, this is also working. Clear?
Yes, sir. That's why my question was also came that one because in pull also trigger and push also.
Pull request I have not yet created. You have to remember two things. Push means what? I'm pushing that code to this branch. That is the reason why it is working. But till
Correct.
now, did we create any pull request?
No, so
No.
what I'm saying, once you are triggering the pull, then also it will create it. That's what I'm trying to say. The two times it will get
Yes, two
triggered.
times. So now I'm going to create the pull request. So one, whatever the code you are pushing to that feature brand, whether that is code is correct, that is pull request. That is the push. Pull request means whatever changes you have provided, comparing with the latest mail, is that code is correct? That is going to be your pull request, right? So now I'm going to create the pull request. So adding status code. So this message in the same name I have provided, and I created this pull request, right? So now one pull request is created. So once the pull request is created, right? It is currently two things are there. One, when I'm pushing the code to feature branch, my workflow will run, and at the same time, if that workflow is associated with the main, then again that workflow is also going to be run. So basically, two things are going to happen behind the scene. Clear? I mean, ideally, how many? What I can say? Uh, how many? Okay, let assume what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove this one. Removing the code from status code from, guys, always give meaningful commit message health endpoint and comment this one. Checking. See, once you create the pull request, this is one and this is. So now you can see, now when I push code, right? When I'm going to push code, feature branch, now two workflows are going to be run. One workflow, right? For what purpose? Pushing the changes to feature branch. Another workflow is going to run for the pull request. So here you can see this workflow name is going to be same. This workflow for the commit statement. So commit, and this workflow for the pull request. Clear?
Just got
Clear?
missed that you there are two questions. You just commit the changes for the adding when you're adding the status code. At that time also you create the pull
No,
request also. Sorry, I'm
currently see, whenever I'm pushing the changes, right, to
uh-huh,
the feature branch, right, that is
uh-huh.
not pull request. Pull request you have to create manually.
Okay, you created one. And sir, in real time scenario, whether the way the YML is generated, should we have both the things like push and pull, or only just the pull is there in real time scenario? Because
See,
otherwise it will
both
get triggered two times. One is when we are pushing it and once we are pulling.
see, basically you have to remember two things. Right? Are you going to work with the main branch
No, sir.
directly? So always feature branch. Feature branch means pull request most of the time.
Push request, right? So push request, yeah.
Yes. But ideally, right, if you put both, that is fine. If you put only one, that is also fine. So it is up to you only, because I'm pushing the changes, whether my changes is fine or not. After merging that changes with the main, whether that is working fine or not. Both things I need to test. Okay.
Hello.
Now what I'm going to do, right? Currently, you can see these two are there. Now
Uh,
I have done some changes, and I want to
Pranay.
ensure. Let me first complete
Hello.
this. I will tell.
Okay.
Let me first complete this, then I will take the question. So now I have done one commit, and I'm pushing that one. So once I push this one, so two things are going to be happening, right? First, it should start, right? You can see removing the status code from the health endpoint and adding status code health point, right? That is the pull request we created one, and this is the right what I can say commit. So that commit means removing the status code from the health endpoint. What we right committed here, and that commit is working. Also, for this branch, one pull request is also there. That pull request is also working. So what is that pull request? Adding status code health point endpoint. So both are working. Clear?
Thing is not clear to me.
Sorry, Panay, not clear.
Yeah, not clear,
Not
sir.
clear.
When you're pushing it, find that removing the status code. When you
So
have
first,
triggered the pull request, I'm not
okay,
able.
let me ask you the question. What is the meaning of a push?
Push, we are pushing the code into the repository in the remote repository. That's the push one.
Okay. So when you are pushing the code to remote repository, there are two things. One, you are pushing to a branch.
Yes.
Another one, you want to merge that branch with another branch.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Right? So if you are only pushing the code to the branch, that is absolutely fine. That is push. For example, you are having branch 1 and branch 2, and you push your code to branch 2. That is push
Mm.
is sufficient. You are only pushing your code. But if you push the code, then whatever code you are pushing, that code is only available in branch 2. Yes or no?
Mm. Yes, sir.
But now what I want the same code to be available in branch 1. Therefore, you can handle that scenario.
That you can do through pull request. That is clear. But what I'm not able to understand, when you're triggering the pull request, because as soon as you committed the two jobs, two times it has been executed. One is for push. That
That
is
is what
fine.
I'm going to explain. Why two times it is executing, that's what I'm going to explain.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So when I'm pushing the code, right? You just tell me when I'm pushing the code, in this case, to the feature branch, right? So this is going to be my feature branch. I'm pushing the code. Clear? So which branch I'm pushing the code? To this feature
Feature
branch,
one.
Feature branch.
right? So for this branch, one workflow should run, and that is what it is running for that particular commit. So I commit the changes and to this branch, and for this commit, it is running one workflow. That is what you can see commit. And for this commit, this workflow is running. That is absolutely fine. Is there any issue why this
No, sir.
workflow is running?
No, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, for this branch, whatever the feature branch you created, is this feature branch having any pull request which is associated with the main?
Yes.
Yes or
But we are
no?
not.
So
But we have not
if you
triggered
call
it,
to this
no.
pull request, if you come to this pull request, right? In this case,
Yeah.
right, when I'm pushing the changes to my feature branch, is
Mm.
that feature for that particular feature branch? Did we create any pull request which is not yet merged with the main?
Not yet. We have to create a new pull request. Then only it will come.
Do I need to create a pull request again and again for each commit? Not required.
Okay.
Once you create a pull request, then that pull request is active for the upcoming commit statement also, until and unless that pull request, right, what you created is not merged with the main. So till now, did we merge that with the main?
No.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Got your point.
Now, coming to your point, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to open, right, my what I can say, file. Why two times it is executing? That what I'm going to explain. So now go to GitHub work. This is my file. Now tell me, this is my triggering condition. When this workflow
Yes.
is going to trigger, so when I'm pushing the code to main or feature, currently I'm pushing the code to which branch?
Feature.
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 So feature branch means this is a push requested to the feature branch means my workflow is going to be run. Clear?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Is this feature branch, for this feature branch, did we create any pull request which is associated with the main branch?
Yes.
So if you look at this pull request, what we created, right? This pull request is associated with main or not?
Yes. Yes.
This feature branch is associated with main. That means what? Again, the flow rate workflow is going to be wrong. So one, when you are pushing the code to feature branch or main branch, again, right? For example, now if I'm going to create a bug fix branch, okay, let me let me create one more branch, right, from the main branch. Okay, go to the menu, right? And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new branch from. So what I'm giving here, bug fix
Mm.
student API. So this branch is created. What is the branch name? Bug fix student API. So create this one. So now go to the student controller, right? And here, if student is not equals to null, what I'm doing here, right? Return bad request. I have added some code. Invalid request. So in this case, you tell me, in this case, if I push this branch, is it going to execute anything?
No.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes or
Like
no?
push only one for only
Because
once it will
this is
be.
not a feature branch.
So is this a feature branch?
No, sir.
No.
Is this the main branch?
No, sir.
Then is it going to create any kind of things? For example, okay, let me do this thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to why that the commit changes is not showing here. So from where we create this branch?
Main.
So why that the comment statement it's not showing? Okay, okay. Let me do one more thing. This is the main branch. Okay. So commit.
You're doing in the main branch itself, sir.
Sorry?
Main branch itself? You're
No, no. I need to work on the bug fix branch. The commit student fix, right? We are in the bug fix one and we commit these changes. And what I'm doing here, I'm pushing these changes. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you come to this right place, home, this is student management API, right? Bug fix, one pull request is there. I need to create this one. So commit student fix. So now tell me, right? I create the pull request. Is this pull request is associated with main?
Yes, sir.
So basically now if I'm sending any changes to this bug fix branch, right, then how many times the workflow is going to execute? One time or two time or zero time?
One
One.
time.
One time.
One time. Why? Now because that branch is having a pull request which is associated with the main. Now it is clear why two times execute whenever I'm
Sir,
pushing to
yes,
feature branch, but why one time when I push to bug fix
sir.
branch?
Yes, sir. Only one question, sir. Only last question in this one. So suppose if I make any changes in the bug fix plan going forward, so I don't need to create a pull request every time it is getting associated, like when it gets stopped. Like that is not
So
clear to me now.
see, till now, right, this pull request what we created, is this pull request is merged with the main?
Okay, because it's how we come to know that it's not merged, like we have to merge. Okay, we have not clicked the merge pull request.
So
Okay.
did you attend yesterday session or no?
Yes, sir, I have attended. Maybe I missed this.
Then I don't understand. Yesterday we have also already discussed how to write review, how to fix the review errors, how to merge.
No,
So
that
here
is clear to me. That is clear to me.
this is
But okay,
showing
maybe.
merge pull request,
Hmm.
right? And confirm merge, that's it. So now
Okay,
once you merge this one, right, then whatever the changes we did here, it is available in the main.
Main.
okay, got it. Until this is not triggered, whatever committing we are doing, it will be going under one batch, and till that time it will be get mapped, and it will
So now
always.
you can see now when I come to this one, there is no read compare and I mean that option pull request is not showing here. Clear? Now
Got it.
what I'm doing, I just remove this part, right? And again, what I'm going to do, this is the big fix. So fix. some commit message I provided and commit this one. So that is done. Then what I need to do? I need to push these changes. Okay. So now your main branch is not protected. Adding status code. So again, you need to create a new pull request, right? How you can do? So base branch is mon, and here you need to select this one, right? You have to create a pull request. Then again, once you create the pull request, right? Fix student add validation. Right. So once you create this one, then again, what will happen? Your right, what I can say, action is going to run. Only this time, only one. So when you are pushing the changes to that branch, it will not run. But once you create the pull request, and if that request is associated with the main branch, again that workflow is going to run. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So does this workflow work for anyone who ever pushed the changes, or it is for like the specified users?
Sorry.
Uh,
Or
it this workflow is going to work for anyone who ever going to push the changes, or is it only for the specific users only?
anyone. Anyone. And again, right, anyone means what? Whenever you are working in your real-time application, anyone doesn't have access to that repository. Only the developer who are working, they can have only push the changes, right?
So like in my organization, I just have the access to push the changes, but I don't have to access like
Because
for
that is going to
the
be, see,
merge and all these things.
it's going to be handled by different team member now. So your
Okay.
role is to push the changes. Their responsibility is to create the workflow, run the workflow. If everything is fine, they have to merge the right changes to the menu. That is going to be taken care by them.
Okay,
But
got it.
when you push the changes, if there is some issue, right, any step is failing, then they will inform you. Please check your code, right? There is some issue
Yes, sir.
here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Pranay,
Yes.
hello. Unit test is merged with the code and it all does that part. But what about the integration testing?
Okay, now it is part of you, right? How to implement integration testing, unit testing. This is your job. Integration testing means what? You just tell me first.
Means complete flow of the menu.
Complete flow means what?
Like after logging something, any flow is there completed or
That
not.
is what you, that is for that purpose the testing team is there. Na? So here we only need to check whatever the code we push, whether that is fine or not. Integration testing means a combination of everything, right? That's what you need to do manually.
Okay, so once we created any feature, any new module is there, so we are creating that feature uh, branch, and after merging to GitHub on UAT or that feature, they will pull and test and integrate that. Does it
Yes,
work
so
like
you
that?
have to say,
Because
once your unit test code is wrong, then you have to deploy that code into your staging or UAT or a development environment, right?
right.
So once it is available in the staging or UAT environment, you just need to tell that code is moved to UAT or staging. You need to inform the testing team. They can start testing their testing the feature.
Okay, and once that is done, then we can merge to main.
Yes, once everything is fine, once your code, right? For example, they have tested some issue, they figure out you have to fix the issue. Again, you need to push this right changes to the right your environment. Once everything is fine, once the UAT gives the green signal, then only you can move that code to your production, right?
Yeah.
Pranay,
Yes.
I just have one doubt. When you remove the code and you have put it the comment in the removing code, at that time you push that changes into the feature branch, I think.
Right. See, whatever I'm doing, in which branch I'm doing, this is just for the testing purpose. I'm adding, removing, that is fine. So you can see adding the code, removing the code doesn't make any sense. So what it means I'm changing some file, committing the file, and pushing the file.
Can you please show the GitHub actions that you have taken in the Chrome?
So exactly, so what you are asking, what action to show, I don't know. What do you want to
Like,
see?
yeah. Uh, Can you show all the list that is showing of all the jobs runs?
So this is the steps, na?
No, no, this is just a there is a one
One,
yeah. In the removing the status code from health endpoint, when it is being merged into the main branch, so it should run two times, I think. Like
see, see,
this is showing one.
let me give you the point, right? Merging is different. So once I merge, that is different. But pull request is different. Pull request we created for merging. So when the
Okay.
pull request is being there, right? When you push the code to that branch, if that branch is associated with main, that workflow is going to run.
Okay, yeah, so for this request, we have not pulled into the
Yes, yes.
main branch.
But when, right? For example, this is adding status code. So once I merge this pull request with the main, again that workflow is going to run,
Okay.
and that what you can see. And this is run on the main branch. Once I merge my application code to main, again that workflow is going to run. So merging means what? We are adding some code into the main branch. That means what? Again, this workflow is going to run. And second thing, do this practice. So once you do
Okay.
this practice on your machine multiple times, in each time what is happening, then you will get more clarity,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So guys, the remaining part, the CD pipeline, CD part, we'll discuss tomorrow. Clear?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you, sir.